Welcome to the Benz NightShow. It is now the 2nd of November 2020. Ug ang atong episode makiksan, we are now on episode number 43. Episode number 43 sa the Benz NightShow. Alright, so salamat sa pagkikuban na kung gabi na makiksunan. Ari kita sa atong world clock para maklaro na ito mga kaigsunan sa orasa. 9:07, 8:07 sa New York. It is 1:07 sa LA. It is 1:07 sa London. O sa Tokyo, it is of course 10:07 mga kaigsunan. Okay, ang atong weather karong gabi na, ayo klaro ta din na sa atong signal. Weather dara. Atong weather karong makigsunan atong temperature. All right, karong gabi na mainit karong gabi na, it's 28 degrees Celsius as of 9 p.m. and it is actually expected to rain. It's expected to rain mga 9 o'clock, pero pag 10 o'clock, wala na may uwan. Wala na yung cloudy, pero wala uwan sa 10 p.m. and 10 p.m. the temperature will be about 27 Celsius all the way up to 1 a.m. 27 Celsius atong temperature, o by 2 a.m. hangtod sa 6 a.m. in the morning, 26 Celsius. By 7 p.m. it will rise up to 27 Celsius, 1 degree for each hour. So 7 a.m. 27 Celsius, 8 a.m. 28 Celsius, 9 a.m. tomorrow 29 Celsius, 9 a.m. tomorrow makikson expected to rain. Unya 10 a.m. to 30 Celsius but expected to rain. Sa 11 a.m. 30 Celsius but still expected to rain, all the way up to 7 p.m. ugma makaigsunan expected to rain or at least showers. Karong 4 a.m. 5 a.m. 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. Although 26 degrees Celsius ang temperature, so but there will be thunderstorms. So right now at 9 a.m. it's 28 degrees Celsius, a few showers, mostly cloudy, and it feels like 31 degrees Celsius. Humidity at this time is 84%. Rain, very small. Precipitation chance is only 26%. So ang dako precipitation chance will be 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Right, so muna siya. O sa atong chat room karon makiksan, kumusta mo diha? Karon si Klein Maverick, ngiga. Buhat na magtalyos si Klein Maverick. Si Christian Inoy, namiraw na to karon, og si Engineer Hilario Escudero. Sir, kumusta mag-imong laboratory results interpretation? Og si Cecil Vines, kuan karon, naminaw po sila ka nato. Salamat yung pagkibat ka ako. Okay, alright, so nga to ta sa di pa ta sidelines. Uy, ato na yung headlines asaman. Sorry. Okay, ano na itong headlines ha? Ito ma-on. Go. Okay, na natong headlines ha. So boss, first we start with the US headlines, pero natay gitawag nato og of course national headlines, the Philippine headlines. Edit. Ano siya? Ito PH national headlines. Katlak PH. Okay, PH national headlines. Sunod diri PH National Business Headlines. Right. Okay. So kanang atong kuan magkaisanan scrolling part na siya. And that's very good news. Live na scroll. And by the way, main window. Kini main window magkaisanan. And murag nanindot na murag tag CNN nanindot kay background clouds na background ato. And those are video backgrounds dili na ordinaryo nga but and it's not only one video but there are hundreds of videos there in the background. So mana ta sa na ni what do you call this? At production value, no? We really studied hard on how to do this. In fact, eventually makaigsunan ang mga kuan, ang mga DepEd. They should learn from our technology here, right? So I hope klaro akong microphone. But you cannot see my microphone. Kita mo microphone din na. Wala din sa akong neck. It's not in my ears, something like that. The microphone is hidden. But I hope its pickup is okay. Dili siya langob na pickup. Okay. Right. So these are the things nga itong di-icon magkaitsanan. Okay. Tempa ha. Alright. Sige. Narita sa alright, the COVID. Where are you? The window here. GHU. Alright. Okay. Narita sa COVID headlines. As usual, panawan na itong production value makaigso na itong butangan o drawing ha. Drawing tablets. Of course, you spend for technology, you spend both in terms of time, money, and effort to make a shortcut. So, as I mentioned to you, my style, ang di mabot sa uban, muna akong buhaton. That's what I focus on. So in this case, I can comment on PowerPoints, I can comment on the screen itself. Pero na itong gikuha na ito karon. This is at the back. On my back, at my back is the Johns Hopkins website. We can draw on it because we spent for technology, we spent for software, we spent for hardware, and we also spent time to study it. Right, so let me show that for you. Okay, this one. Bam. Okay, ready na. Alright, so it's okay now. Narin na ta sa atong headlines. Let's try to make to draw handwritten circle. Kung gusto mo og dili handwritten, kana. Right, and then the arrows. Okay, arrows, and then you can also write the text. Text magkaisanan on COVID-19 updates. Okay. Let me see. This one. COVID-19 updates. So, again, akong ipakita ninyo ang combination sa text, combination sa handwritten, scroll, pinagi sa tong tablet pen, o pwede sad ka ng geometric shapes like the ellipse here. Alright, COVID-19 updates, klaro ka. And, okay. So, ready na? So, ang global cases as of this minute, 64,007,836 worldwide. 64,007,836 cases worldwide. These are the confirmed official cases, but the estimated number of cases is times 10. Because many of them are not recorded or unable to be recorded. So it's about 640 million cases worldwide. That's more than 500 million already. And global deaths is, makita nato diri, is 1,483,401. 1,000,000, okay, 483,000. Ito na po itong yung sa screen. 1,483,401. Of course, magkaigsunan ang okay, one. Okay. Ang deaths na rin nato makita dire. Here. Klaro ba na ninyo? That's so balik na to sa picture mo. Salipdan man, so atong i-adjust ning atong screen. Where is it? I-adjust na to siya. Okay, we'll move it a little bit here. Salipdan and transition. Alright. So dili kay ta center, dili sa kay ta center, pili sa ngayta sa duckling, pero nga na lang ta, no? COVID-19 on our back. Okay. So 64,007,836 worldwide, og ang deaths as I mentioned is 1 million, no? 0.4 million plus. Now if you go to United States, okay, nanong manimulihok ang United States. The United States, ang cases here on your left sa screen, 13,728,153. 13,700,153 or 13.7 million ang death sa United States. Kung klaro niyo dire sa kung on my back here, here it's 270,621. 270,000, that's more than 250,000 dead of COVID-19 in just the last 9 months. So can you imagine kung girakrakan pa na rin, gibombahan pa na Amerika, like let's say katong 9/11, katong 9/11 o sa man to, maybe 6,000 people died. Kini 270,000 people died, 271,000 runoff people died, and yet they are not serious in how to contain it, on how to counteract. Ang nagkanilita ni kay, this is a kind of medical terrorism, viral terrorism, and there's a very simple solution, and that simple solution is, guess what? Mask, shield, wash your hands, physical distancing, period. Manigibuhat sa Taiwan, manigibuhat sa Singapore, sa Japan, sa South Korea, of course, Hong Kong. Wa na gibuhat sa Pilipinas, pero ang Pilipinas wa sad klaro kay sa mga barangay ron na masulog mga mask. Sulog ko mga barangay wa mga mask. Alright, nila tas Philippines nga hapit na mo 500,000 ang cases. That's it. Philippines 434,000. Maklaro ba nyo din ha? Okay. Sa yellow na itong screen, 434,057 o atong English na blue bit. Okay. Sorry. Right. Okay. Philippines 434,357 cases, and that's just the reported cases. Some of these cases are not reported. So again, it's possible that we already have 43 million. It's possible that we already have 43 million cases unreported. And deaths in the Philippines, 8,436 deaths. 8,436 deaths. It could be more than that. Kaya na may ibang deaths nga wala gyangkon. This day, due to COVID. 8,436. Kaya lang sobrang 4,360 Manila. Ang sobra lang sa 8,000, 8,436. Mas dagkan pa na kaysa upat ka countries nga tayo mention later on. So, malita sa Japan, ang Japan, nagsaka sila. We did now have 153,392 in Japan. 153,392 and 2,137. That is 1/4 of that of the Philippines. Japan. And yet, Japan, highly populated, densely populated major centers nila, and they did not shut down their public transportation such as the trains, which are so close to each other, jam-packed inside the train, and the buses and the minibuses. Wala na shut down dito. So Japan 153,392 cases. Japan 2,137 deaths. Okay, sunod nga rito sa Singapore, about 58,000 ang Singapore. So, what mga kapin mo sa kamurag mo mga kapin eh. 58,230 cases in Singapore. 58,230 cases, and there are only 29 deaths in Singapore, despite the fact that they are highly compressed in their population. 58,230 and 29 deaths in Singapore. Okay, and most of these cases are the migrant workers in Singapore, where there's very bad hygiene, very bad hygienically, no? Very bad hygiene ng environment sa migrant workers sa section. Only 29 deaths in Singapore now. Let's go to South Korea. South Korea, there are only 35,163 cases. 35,163 cases with 526 deaths in South Korea. Only 526 deaths since the beginning. Ang Philippines, 8,400 already. Can you imagine that? And on May 1, ang South Korea, mas daghan pa sila og cases kaysa Philippines. South Korea, Japan, and then let's go to Taiwan. Ang Taiwan, there are now 679 cases in Taiwan, but still only 7 deaths in Taiwan. Okay ba na? By the way, okay ba itong mga headlines na makaigsunan? Okay. So, marang putag CNN, no? Or BBC. Yeah, natin clock na it's counting for every second, and I hope our layout already looks very professional. And again, one-man machine, nag-handle sa software, nag-handle sa hardware, nag-handle sa configurations, nag-handle sa mga setups sa tablet, etc. Again, I will show you. I can turn my camera right there and then bam, and come back. See, turn camera on and off. I can also turn my microphone on off, mic off. Now you can hear me. Mic on, mic off. Pinagi sa atong tablet control. So we have to buy a tablet for that. Control na natin. Alright, so what's ba? Taiwan, of course, ang Hong Kong. Kung tanong Hong Kong should be this one. Okay, Macau mo na gina. Ang Hong Kong, Macau, they're so near each other. That's why when you have the wrong cursor, so it's clean the board and it's focused on Hong Kong. Here, and Hong Kong, cases Hong Kong, 6,396 cases, and deaths Hong Kong 109 cases. Now Philippines 8,400 cases, 8,400 deaths. Hong Kong only 109. And remember this: the population density of Hong Kong is bang, present na to 98,000 people per square kilometer. Per square kilometer. Okay. So option two. Okay. Sa chatroom, kumusta mo niya? Sa atong chatroom, isa nakabisita na to karon. Si Klein Maverick, si Engineer Hel Escudero, si Cecil Vites, si Jennifer Ricarte. Oy, salamat din Jennifer Ricarte sa inyong pag-invite na ko ha, o namo sa 20th anniversary. 20th anniversary sa Association of Concerned Texters. Si Irene Vilvar, namina po nato karon. Si Dina Pardillo dito sa Minganilla, Felipe Menyoza, o si Adora Redilosa. Adora Redilosa, shout out. I'm watching from Kamputao. Kamputao, silingan. Alright, so salamat yung pag-iguban ka ng pagkaingsonan. Right. Again, we are on the 2nd of December 2020 and we are on episode 42 na ba ni? Sa atong kuan. Okay. Right. Okay. Share. Pa na itong shortcut doon ang atong main window. Yes, that's the main window. Ang atong right. So nga naman why okay. Videos. Corona updates na to mag-isa ng atas mga corona updates sa news sa corona. Okay, breaking news mga kaisanan, the United Kingdom has become the first Western nation to approve a COVID-19 vaccine. the first Western nation to approve a COVID-19 vaccine, o sa landmark moment sa pandemic that paves the way for the first doses to be rolled out across the United Kingdom next week. UK regulators granted emergency authorization for a vaccine made by the US pharma giant Pfizer and its German partner BioNTech. The companies published data last month that showed it was 95% effective with no serious safety concerns. Ang UK Health Secretary nag-ingon nga 800,000 doses would be available by next week. Next week, ha? Elderly people in care homes, mga nursing homes, along with health workers and other vulnerable people will be the top priority on the list. And Pfizer CEO si Albert Bourla called the UK approval a historic moment in the fight against COVID-19. The news of the UK authorization might cause a bit of stir dito sa US FDA Commissioner nga si Stephen Hahn, and he was summoned into the White House yesterday after President Donald Trump privately demanded to know why the agency hasn't approved the Pfizer vaccine yet. Nanon-onhan sila. Hahn told ABC news agency that he believes the agency will come up with a decision relatively quickly after its December 10 committee meeting. Mag-meeting pa mas December 10. The first shipments of Pfizer's coronavirus will be delivered on December 15, according to an Operation Warp Speed document. An advisory panel to the CDC had recommended that healthcare and long-term care workers get inoculated first as vaccines as rolled out. Okay. Wala siya. News. Oh, bagong study nag-ingon, a new study found that the coronavirus may have been present in the US in December. That doesn't mean you'll ever know if you had it then. Si Senate Majority Leader sa US, si Mitch McConnell, is circulating a new coronavirus relief plan as a part of a last-ditch effort to pass a bill to prop up the struggling economy before the year's end. Si Elton John honored Anthony Fauci on World AIDS Day. Osaka, Michigan couple sa United States, married for 47 years, died of COVID-19 within a minute of one another. 60 seconds, 30 seconds ako, no? A minute sila. I mentioned that last night. Florida has become the third U.S. state to reach 1 million coronavirus cases after Texas and California. Of course, ang New York magkaigsunan about 500,000 ra ang New York. Travelers to Iceland don't have to quarantine or get tested if they have had already COVID-19. Sakit ng COVID-19, hindi na kailangan quarantine. Okay. Right. Like question and answer magkaigsunan. If the vaccines, kaning corona vaccines, the corona vaccines prevent people from getting sick with coronavirus, can they also prevent people from carrying the virus and infecting others? Ang answer na, so far, we can't say for sure. Matud pa ni Dr. Sanjay Gupta. The vaccines gikan sa Pfizer or BioNTech and from Moderna have shown high effectiveness in preventing people from getting sick with COVID-19. But, again, the data has not shown.
Again,
but the data has not shown whether the vaccines can prevent people from carrying the virus and infecting others. Ayay, sa ito pa, pwede pa, bisag na kay vaccine, pwede pa ka ma-carrier. Yung katungo pa vaccine, matakdan mo. Asa mo mga itong vaccine nga prevention or nga rin mo sa humanity VX nga cure. Hindi ko doktor ha, pero quote-unquote cure. Kung na-cure naman ako, pasalamat mo. What's important today? The CDC will decrease coronavirus quarantine time. The CDC will soon issue new guidelines, reducing the number of days people should quarantine following exposure to COVID-19 positive individuals from 14 days na to i-shorten nila to 7 to 10 days. The new guidelines will recommend that close contacts of those infected with the coronavirus can end their quarantine after 7 days if they receive a negative test or 10 days without getting tested. Sa laing bahin, ang China is ready to deliver millions of vaccines to countries globally. From cold chain warehouses to temperature-controlled compartments in cargo jets, ang China is gearing up to send hundreds of millions. Can you imagine hundreds of millions? Hundreds of millions of doses of coronavirus vaccines to countries that have conducted large last stage trials for its leading candidates. And Chinese leaders have also promised a growing list of developing countries, including the Philippines, priority access to its successful vaccines. Of course, do you think the US will accept and the European Union will accept the Sinovac? The country currently has 5 candidates. China has 5 candidates from 4 companies which have reached phase 3 clinical trials, the last and most important step of testing before regulatory approval is sought. Okay. Osaka young family faces financial ruin kuno for trying to protect their baby from COVID-19. Si Jessica Los ug Dylan Garcia are under what they call unbearable stress. Every second, they worry that in trying to keep their youngest child safe from the pandemic, they might lose their home and hurt their other children. The 3-year-old Brandy has an extremely rare metabolic disorder that requires round-the-clock care and makes her vulnerable to any kind of virus. Garcia and Lusk haven't been working since they worried about introducing the coronavirus to their homes. Kalaway nila, no? Okay. So, nganitas bagong study that found the coronavirus may have been in the US in December. Now, remember, na-mention natin nga March pa sa 2019, nakita na sa Spain. November 2019, nakita na sa France among virus. Now, sa US, December last year, I'm not surprised because ang China man good, wag yun mo angkon nga naa na niyang virus. Angkon sila towards the New Year's Eve. December 31 na sa 2019. And of course, that is after 3 months of denial. Kay August pa, September, October, daghang nangamatay sa China of an unexplained cause. So, it's possible na sa China, dito na siya by December. Or October pa. August, September, October. And before China finally owned up to it by December. So, United States, December, it's possible. In fact, ako probably natakdan ko when I was in Hong Kong last October. Kaya mo ko last 2019. October 2019, I was in Hong Kong. And I remember when I came back, I had a severe fever. And I thought it was just some kind of a flu, influenza, or all of this kind of sakit sa imong tiyan nga mura ka o ka ng stomach flu, itawag stomach flu. Pero at that time, of course, nainom ako humanity daan. EDSX pa nga na to, karon Humanity, the improved version is called Humanity EVX. Naginom ko ato daan, pero I was really down for maybe 2 to 4 days. 2 to 4 days. Now I remember that more retroactively. So I think ang nakuha na ko last October 2019. No. Yeah, October 2019. Tingali COVID ito. Ano sinukong? Wala akong kaya ba ito. Possible. Possible. Because, so, if you're telling me nga in 2019, December 2019, na sa US, it's possible na sa US, I will not be surprised. Because news para daan sa giangkon sa China ba November na sa pero I think October pa na nila nga matay na wa para nagiangkon sa China. Okay. Sige. A new study published last Monday nagsuggest that the novel coronavirus was infecting people across the US as early as December, a month before the first person known to have been infected with the coronavirus arrived in the US from China on January 15. Researchers screened blood donations made in December and early January and found evidence of antibodies to the novel coronavirus in at least 84 samples from 9 states. Something that would suggest that those people that means previously, had been infected with the coronavirus. Now, by the way, magpa-test juga makaigsanan for the rapid test for the antibodies so that makibawa ka og na previously infected baka. You might be negative today for the coronavirus, but you might be positive for the antibody. Kaning antibody is specific to the coronavirus, so it is the anti-corona antibody. ACAB. ABAC. Antibody anti-corona. So, these findings suggest that the SARS-CoV-2 may have been introduced into the United States prior to the January 19, 2020 patient. Muna gisulti sa researcher sa CDC, good mismo, ha? Many people wonder if they may have had coronavirus early in the pandemic or even before people knew the virus was circulating. Now, it would be hard to know unless someone took a coronavirus test at the time, something that obviously did not exist. The symptoms are similar to those of many other flu-like infections, a cough, a fever, body aches, perhaps a sore throat. And without a sample taken at the time of infection or soon after, it will be impossible to know whether an individual was infected back then, said Dr. Ian Lipkin. Antibody tests can indicate a past infection, but not when that infection is occurred. So, manakong gisulti ni mo, Engineer Hill, Engineer Hill Scudero, nga kung na gani kay suspected nga patient niya, negative na siya sa corona, kinahanglan ka confirmatory test, which is the antibody test to detect the presence of the IgG, which is the long-term antibody. If you are positive for antibody, if you have a friend positive sa antibody, negative sa coronavirus today, it means to say previously, maybe 1 month before, naka-catch na siya og corona. Yeah, karon wala na ang coronavirus, ang nabilin ang antibody na lang because the antibody killed the coronavirus. You cannot distinguish between somebody being infected in December or somebody being infected in March or April. A person's immune response to a viral infection such as COVID-19 changes over time. Several studies have shown the antibody responses ramp up right after an infection and then adjusts as different types of antibodies take over. So, primero IgM, sunod IgG. There are tests that in the first few weeks of the infection indicate very recent infection, but after that, you cannot really tell. The only exception would be if somebody had taken a blood test earlier and showed they were negative for the virus. But the study shows that blood donations may be an important source of information about when the virus began circulating. These findings also highlight the value of blood donations as a source for conducting SARS-CoV-2 surveillance, SARS-CoV-2 is the scientific name of the coronavirus that causes COVID-19. Blood donations, okay, blood donations stored since last year could be tested for antibodies, although the type of test could be important. Several other coronaviruses cause common colds, and tests could mistakenly detect infections with this virus makikita po cross reaction. Okay, so kuya na ha. Now, ang CDC panel, lahat itong UK panel, itong dimension ganina, UK man to. Ang CDC panel sa US, nag-ingon karon nga health workers and nursing homes will get COVID vaccine first. So, pareho sila sa UK, health workers o nursing homes. A Centers for Disease Control and Prevention panel voted 13-1 on Tuesday to give healthcare workers and long-term care facility residents the first priority for the vaccine. Okay. Okay. Alright, so si Osner Benz na mina to karon. Kada kan balik-balik niya. Og si Elgo watching from Cebu South. Okay, si Osner Benz na mina to karon. Sige. Okay, isa pa lang na mina to diya. Legis main night. Okay. Right. So matud pa ni Dr. Anthony Fauci sa United States, the US could have herd immunity by the end of summer 2021. That means 70% infected. Itas na na. Ayaw ng herd immunity. Most important, cure for COVID. Cure for COVID. So, Alam mo pong tanan na kung unsay cure for COVID, kay maingon na po niya mo nga, Dr. Deka. Alright. Pero, diso din mga bilyonaryo may manawag na to eh. Mga bilyonaryo manawag na to. White House Coronavirus Task Force once it states we are in a very dangerous place kung nakaroon natin pa. Now, question is, how long it takes to catch COVID if you're in a room with someone who has it? And by the way, makaigsunan ha, usa ka coronavirus patient, I'm 23 years old, and I just had a stroke. Na-stroke siya, na-mini-stroke siya, kaya baka, ang cause na, 23 years old ha, tungod na sa COVID-19. Manang ayaw gid man COVID-19, balag, maybe, maingon mo nga, dili mo symptomatic, pero baka COVID-19 mo, there are long-term effects. Okay. By the way, mga swingers ko no, 2020 Naughty Nolens. So, New Orleans Swingers event becomes a super spreader after 41 test positive for the coronavirus. So, grabihan na, no? Mga Swingers Convention, Sweden a place at their tables and flirted behind masks from a distance, pero takdan gapon sila. 41 test positive for the coronavirus. Swingers. Kadong swingers, baka nang nag-uyab niya, magsabot-sabot lang uyab, puli-puli sila, ano ba? Manitawag swingers. Okay. So, how long does it take for you to catch COVID if you're in a room with someone with COVID? Ano to niya? Researchers gikan sa MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, put together a website that reveals how long it takes to catch the virus when in a room with someone who has it. The risk of transmission depends on a few variables such as room size, mask wearing that users on the website can tweak to the environment, and indoor gatherings are disproportionately responsible for coronavirus transmissions. If you find yourself in an indoor gathering, it's imperative to wear a mask and adhere to social distancing guidelines. Okay. Now, though the coronavirus can spread more readily than the flu, the reality is that simply being in the same room as someone who has the virus does not automatically mean that you're going to contract it yourself. Now, even with indoors, with the coronavirus is more likely to spread. The virus's ability to spread from one person to another depends on a variety of factors such as air conditioning, whether or not people are wearing masks, physical or social distancing, the viral load of the infected person, the size of the indoor space, and more. Now, in the light of the above, a pair of researchers from MIT recently used mathematical models to anticipate the likelihood of someone contracting COVID-19 when in the same room as someone who already has it. Now, even more helpful is that the researchers used all of their findings to create a website where users can specifically enter in several variables to help them determine the risks associated with an indoor gathering. Now, the website can be viewed and is, without exaggeration, fascinating to play around with. Aside from picking from a list of indoor environments, like a restaurant. So, okay, ito niya pagkita ang kaigsunan. So this is the key. This is the website. I'll show you. Okay, this is the website, and okay, this is what is called is the COVID-19 indoor safety guideline. Okay, so here you can about the room specifications, human behavior, frequently asked questions. So in this case, you can have the room specific. So you can choose the room, for example, here. Kung makita ka dire. So here, suburban house, restaurant, quiet office, classroom lecture, New York City subway car, Boeing 737, church. So these are examples. So, for example, New York City subway car. All right. To reduce COVID-19 transmission, this room should have 2 people for over 15 days, 3 people for 7 days, 4 people for 5 days, 100 people for 4 hours. In contrast, the 6 foot or 2 meter distancing guidelines would limit occupancy to 16 people, which becomes unsafe after 24 hours. So, yun na siya yung mga kwandari. Sorry. Siya mga how long. If there are 100 people for 4 hours, matakda na ka. Now, also, if this room has 10 people, its occupants will become upset after 4 hours, after 40 hours. So, for example, here. So, na siya mga guidelines. Also, if people spend approximately 4 hours, occupancy should be limited to 92. So, again, those are the things. Nindot nga website. This is called indoor-covid.safety.hirokoapp.com. Asba, hindi mo lang kamukha hirokoapp.com. Okay. Kung sila di sila kayo mo marketing mo, nakakas kay mga okay, para yung picture nila. Okay, so for example, nakasaw sa ka restaurant. Okay. So if this restaurant has if this restaurant has 10 people, its occupants will become unsafe after 11 hours. If approximately 4 hours here, the occupant should be be around 26 people, and to reduce COVID-19 highlight it. Right, so muna ang website magkaigsunan. Okay, klaro na ba tong voice? Last news na tumakigsunan, US mga scientists naka-develop sila og nasal spray to prevent COVID-19 effective for 6 months. Kuyawa po dani ay. Tinuod ba na? Scientists at the University of Pennsylvania and the biotech firm Regeneron are investigating whether technology developed for gene therapy can also be used to make a nasal spray that will prevent infection with the new coronavirus. The idea is to use a weakened virus as a delivery truck to carry genetic instructions to the cells within the nose and throat, which will in turn create powerful antibodies to stop SARS-CoV-2 from invading our bodies. Kuya, okay na. Commutate ng tana something kuan manang ako makaigsunan nga retas cure. Itong cure organic, simple, and proven 100% effective. Awala mo na, pero mga bilyonaryo na yung manawag na ako. Bilyonaryo, ha? People who own companies with billion peso valuations. Okay, the advantage of our approach, matod pa sa Regeneron, is that you don't need a competent immune system for this to be effective. The technology is currently being tested in animals, and Wilson believes that if successful, it could provide people with around 6 months of protection. Ay, sa topic after 6 months, injection na nga. Ngaray mo sa cure? Cure is better than prevention. O gina akong moto sa katong dengue pa. Pero kiba mo, hina ang dengue na. Although today, nako'y duha ka dengue nga patients, pero relatively ha, mihina ang dengue. Pagsugod ang COVID. Really? Okay. Remember, ako may barometer of dengue, kaya tanang mga tao, hospital na, ngaray mo nang kung pa-dengue. Surgeon ko saka World-Class Hospital diri nagpatabang. Anyway, sige, salamat kay sa inyong pagkauban kanako. Kini si J. Benz at the J. Benz NightShow is the 2nd of December 2020 and we are now on our episode number 43. Walang ibaw eh. Episode 43 na ta. Ang atong mga news headlines I hope nag-follow mo samtang namina mo na ko and I hope you enjoyed our backgrounds, you enjoyed our graphic show makaigsanan using our hardware tablets, and again, I can turn on my off turn my camera on and off right there and then pack 1, 2 pack see pack mura lang dikidlat pero actually gi-on off mo na. Anyway, thank you, good night. Kini si Jet Events Night Show. See you tomorrow and sweet dreams. It's a post na uban. Thank you, bye bye. Ha.